What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about another new release, this time an action movie directed by David Ayer and starring everybody's favorite British man, Jason Statham. And that is The Beekeeper. One man's campaign for vengeance takes on national stakes after he is revealed to be a former operative of a powerful and clandestine organization known as Beekeepers. This man also happens to just be a beekeeper in his retirement as well. Very poetic. At this point in time, I've seen enough Jason Statham movies to know what I'm getting myself into, and to be honest, I was slightly disappointed with this one. It knows what it is. It knows it's a stupid, ridiculous movie. The idea of it, that he is a beekeeper, but he's also this former spy that used to work for the super top secret organization called Beekeepers. Yeah, I mean, it's the stupidest thing you've ever heard. But you got the perfect salesman to do it, and I would rather watch this man bond with bees than try and fight sharks, and that is Jason Statham. I'm gonna make about 5 more of these because I love the bees. With all the praise I'm about to give it, you'd probably be a little confused as to why I'd be slightly disappointed, but hear me out for a minute. This is like a 90s action movie, man. Released 30 years too late, and I get it. It plays into that as well. There's so many ridiculous lines in here. There were so many ridiculous ideas. There were a couple of ridiculous kills. And I'm just like, this is the type of 90s action movie that I like, because in the 90s you had the big three. You had Face Off, Con Air, and The Rock. Ironically, all Nicolas Cage movies. But this reminds me of some of like the smaller ones. Just like the ones that were like not as big in name, but just went for it. Like something like Passenger 57 with Wesley Snipes, or like Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth. You know, something that isn't as mainstream as it has any right to be and probably shouldn't be. That's what most of The Beekeeper reminded me of because of those silly choices that the movie makes. This script is a complete mess, I will say that. But a lot of those 90s action movie scripts are messes. You're along for the ride with those movies because they're just fun action movies. Like, is Face Off really that good of a movie? Probably not, but it's wicked fun. I love that. It's one of my favorite action movies ever made. The Beekeeper also just has this silly, ridiculous tone to it. Almost every other line is about bees, the history of bees, where Jason Statham just shows up, says some bee puns, and then gets to go home.
Oh, what's acting? You show up, you say some stuff, you go home.
Yeah, man, I could kill you. I'm like the bee's knees here, alright? Don't test my patience. I have a honey waiting at home.
You know, something like that. Yeah, that was cringy as shit, but you know, something like that. There's definitely some great one-liners in here too. I mean, anytime that Jason Statham's like, I'm protecting the hive, you just can't help but laugh at yourself. You can't help but laugh at some of the characters in this movie too. It's not like you're laughing with the movie, you're laughing at the movie. Because even though the movie knows exactly what it is, there are times where it is trying to take itself really seriously, and sometimes it's in those moments where Jason Statham is kicking ass or you don't have Josh Hutcherson on screen, because holy shit, what did he play? It's really funny. The whole basis behind this whole thing is like there's this company that scams this old lady, and then I really guarantee you that it's like a satire of those companies that scam people, because I guarantee you there's people that sit behind computers in a desk in a big long what looks like laboratory or giant office with some guy walking up and down with a microphone like that. I guarantee you that that's what it's like. And those were honestly where I was the most entertained with this movie. When it's just leaning into 90s cheese is when this movie was at its best. That's when it was entertaining. There's a really fun character that I think a lot of people are going to hate. I liked the guy with the sideburns, the mustache. He sounded like he was Scottish. That guy was awesome. And he has a really, really good fight with Jason Statham towards the end of this movie. But even then, I can't help but feel like David Ayer's just jealous he never got to make a John Wick movie, because it felt something like it was straight out of John Wick. But it was definitely the most brutal action scene of the movie. It was definitely the bloodiest one. And that brings me to the action scenes, because David Ayer cannot direct action for his life. This man needs an editor for his editing. Okay? Can you film an action scene correctly instead of bitching about your cut of Suicide Squad? It's been 8 years, man. Be like Princess Elsa and just let it go for the sake of all of humanity. Please just let it go at this point. It's not even the fact that these action scenes are chopped up, though. Yeah, they are edited to shit. It's not even the fact that it's quick cutting and it's edited to shit. They're just chopped up. It feels like a bunch of million different scenes just put together. It's the fact that you don't really get to see anything in these action sequences. Sometimes characters just wander into these action scenes and you're just like, what the hell am I supposed to be looking at? Or Statham will punch somebody and you don't even know who he's punching because everything is filmed as a close up. There's no beautiful wides for the action sequences in this movie. What makes something like Mission Impossible or John Wick or even the last couple of James Bond movies, even when the action scenes are lackluster, you can still at least see everything that's in frame. You get a very good depth of field. You can see they are filmed from a distance. They are in beautiful wide shots. Almost every action scene is just a close up of Jason Statham's forehead, and I just couldn't look at that veiny thing anymore. It really didn't help with the action feeling brutal or bloody because in those moments, because everything is filmed at a close up instead of a wide shot where you can see almost the entire depth of field, the action felt very sanitized for me. And that was honestly the most disappointing aspect of this movie, aside from that fight with the guy with the cool sideburns and the mustache that fought Jason Statham towards the end. That was, I think, the highlight for me in terms of the action. Other than that, the action is very choppy, it is very cut up, and it's all filmed in close-ups that I just thought were very, very ugly. And that was honestly the most disappointing part for me because when I go into an action movie, I want to see some cool action. I want to see the actors doing their own stunts. Or if they have stunt doubles, at least have those people in frame. And I want to see what is actually surrounding them. Do they have an area where they can actually move around? Are they on a giant set? You know, things like that. This didn't have that for me, but it had enough entertainment value for me, even if the action was disappointing in the movie itself because of that, did feel a bit disappointing because I was having fun with the kind of camp and the tone that this movie was going for. I kind of overlooked that, and I feel like I shouldn't because I am an action movie junkie. Action is really, really something that I have always loved in movies. I think if you film it right and you stage it right, it's perfect. And in here, it's just not staged right either. It feels very tensionless. It just feels like Jason Statham comes into a room, kicks people in the balls, and then just leaves. And then 5 minutes later, he does the same thing. There's really no build up to it. And he randomly just appears. He has these like random superpowers in this movie where he just pops up everywhere. I'm like, how did you get here? Did you just teleport from the other side of the map or something? Jesus. So that did leave me feeling a bit disappointed in that regard. But the cheesy tone, the one-liners, the puns, this movie knew what it was in terms of the tone. It's just the action left me feeling a little empty and disappointed in the end. With that, I will say The Beekeeper is definitely worth watching with only half a bucket of popcorn. That is a little bit disappointing, I understand that, but hey, it's the best January movie I've seen so far. So, if Night Swim was the omen for bad January movies, maybe that I didn't hate roleplay and I didn't hate this movie, maybe January won't be so bad in the end after all. So, what do you guys think of The Beekeeper? Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I will see you at the movies somewhere.